welcome back to Affirmations. I want to thank my subscribers and any new subscribers that I got. Thank you. Also, those of you that are passing through, thank you as well. Like, share, and subscribe. Help me grow my YouTube channel, trying to get to 1,000. It would be greatly appreciated, okay? And don't forget to hit the notification bell. Also, comment in the comment section. It helps the algorithm pick up the YouTube channel, okay? Let's see. Wishing everyone mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical health. I'm hoping everyone had a good week. Okay. And if it was not a good week, what is one thing you can do to kind of make it be better this week, huh? Okay. Giving you all some Palo Santo. Okay. All right. Helping bring us into the present moment, right? Being mindful. Sometimes incense and Palo Santo and things like that can help us focus, okay? And scent is also one of the ways that we can kind of center ourselves as well, okay? And it's very pleasant. Okay, so for those of you that are new, we always start off with our saying, death and life is in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. Have you been feeding yourself fresh or rotten fruit? Always wanting to mind the self-talk that we do with ourselves, as well as what we speak, as well as what we speak about others. It's okay to vent, but we want to make sure that we're not being malicious and lying on others. Sometimes that can activate reap what you sow, okay? Let's see. And with that, for those of you that are new, let's see. We are tackling the topic of healing slave trauma, okay? We will be using the DBT deck for clients and therapists, 101 mindful practices to manage distress, regulate emotions, and to build better relationships, okay? All right. Thinking you all can see that. Again, this is a new format that I'm kind of experimenting with, so we'll see how it goes. I probably will go back and forth with the other format that I normally use, okay? Also, we used to use this particular deck called self-therapy cards. These are questions, actions, and meditations to combat daily distress and to help heal yourself. Okay, this right here is one we didn't go through all of the questions. So at some point, I probably will go back to this one. Okay. This is a good one for people that want to do some self work. Okay, and also we do not want to forget Post-Traumatic Slave Syndrome, America's Legacy of Enduring Injury and Healing by Dr. Joy DeGury. Important book to get. Kind of helps us understand how we're still being affected today by the slave trauma, okay? Very important book to get, okay? All right. Let's see. And for those of you that are new, I will pull from the stones, okay? And I will randomly pick a stone and let us know which deck we're going to speak from today, okay? All right. Let's see what we're going to get. What are we going to get? Okay. Okay, we got strength. Strength, right? Our people have great strength. We've endured a lot. And as a result, we have great strength, right? For every negative, there's a positive. Strength. That belongs to the red deck. Okay. Put that back there. Okay, let's see what we're going to get with this red deck. Okay. Let's see if I can get something to come out. Okay. That one wants to pop over. Okay. We'll take that one. Okay, this one here talks about, it says, your interpersonal bill of rights. Interesting. Your interpersonal bill of rights. It says, take some time to sit down and draft or create a bill of rights. Very interesting. You know, governmental, right? Countries have bills of rights. What are your personal bill of rights for your relationships? Right? Consider the following to get you started. Number one, you have the right to be treated with respect. And again, this is perfect because, again, we're always talking about the different roles that we take on that we've learned from slavery. Again, some of us has picked up that character of master. Some have picked up the character of slave, submitting to other people, being controlled. We've talked about the slave catcher. That's the person that seduces and kind of tricks you a bit. And before you know it, you're kind of caught up with them. And we've talked about the P. Diddy situation where that happens a lot in these party scenes, right? Where you're having fun, but you're being recorded, right? And so then you're aware that you're recording without saying anything. It's understood that you will be bound to me, loyal to me, right? That kind of thing. Also, that of overseer, right? That's another thing that's been integral in our people. There's always been people that was used, and a lot of times under torture or coercion or threats, saying that you will be a plant, you will spy, you will come back and report to me. So we've always had that within our groups, where you have this disloyalty, where they're reporting back to historical oppressors and different things like that. Okay, so that's always been there. So there are a lot of different characteristics that we've taken on and we still play out today. Okay, so one of them is, do you have the right to be treated with respect? Okay, and so this is kind of tricky. uh we've talked about how, the world was colonized under Christianity, and then patriarchy and Christianity kind of go hand in hand. But again, a lot of books were taken out, and in order to support a system like slavery, right, and the oppression, right, and we even talk about male-female dynamics of this understanding of someone has a right to kind of lord over or not allow people to have freedom of choice. Okay, and so it ends up being quite abusive. But what we do know is, I always like to talk about, one of my favorite scriptures is, you will know a thing by its fruits, meaning by the truth of it, by the evidence of it. If you see someone in a relationship that is harmed mentally, emotionally, physically, right, we know that's not of the Most High. We know that is not healthy. We know that's abusive in nature, right? We know that something's off, right? If someone is not able to speak or able to have an opinion or negotiate and are silenced, we know that is not fair, right? And so that's some of the things that we're trying to grapple with, right? Trying to learn a more fair, correct way, because again, we've picked up these behaviors, right? But again, you have the right to be treated with respect. You have the right to feelings and opinions, right? You have the right to have and maintain boundaries, right? So what are boundaries? And again, the way it works is, especially when you're looking at a lot of just dynamics amongst people. If we know someone does not like something, or it makes them frustrated or agitated or stresses them out or sad, and we keep doing it, and they've set a boundary, we're taking on that role of master and being abusive, right? And sometimes people get angry when people have boundaries. Their whole obsession is, I want to make sure that I can get you to, I want to be able to cross your boundaries. That's an abuser, right? If you find yourself with someone trying to set a boundary, or some people not able to speak it, but you can tell they're trying to avoid a situation and they're uncomfortable, but you keep going and gigging and teasing and provoking. Okay? People have a right to boundaries. Sometimes people can't speak it, but you can see their body language that they're uncomfortable. And if that turns you on and makes you excited and want to keep going, that's abusive. Okay? But we have a right to maintain boundaries, meaning those of us that sometimes may be more quiet, you have to speak up and say, that makes me uncomfortable. And you might have to walk off. Or that makes me uncomfortable. And I can stay if you can respect that. If not, I got to go. Okay? It says you have the right to say no, right? These are things we were not allowed to do as slaves. So some of those behaviors still carry over, right? Some of us still struggle with that, saying no, right? And people a lot of times will guilt trip you and manipulate again, right? So a lot of times we don't have the whip anymore, but people have words. They have little jagging statements. Are you being mean? Are you being selfish? Right? These little sarcastic statements, right? But what we want to also understand is that everyone is born with what you call free will. If the Most High gives humans free will, Certainly amongst us as humans, we have free will amongst each other. So technically, you can't be controlling people and manipulating. And we talked about in the spiritual realm, we don't know what the consequences of that is, right? Uh, it says you have the right to ask for what you want and need. Right? People sometimes get upset when you ask for what you need and want. But also, to those people that are uncomfortable with that and are used to trying to make requests and the needs not being met, guess what? I love this particular scripture. It talks about again, one of the topics we always talk about is, multiple wives and this concept. And of course, that's not ideal, but even biblically, they had to figure that out in order to not have chaos. And one of the things they talked about is not making what they call whores or prostitutes of the women, right? Because sometimes some of the men weren't sexually disciplined. So they will say, any woman you lay with, that's your wife, right? You're going to have to make sure that she has a basket and store, meaning home and provisions. Okay, you're responsible. Okay, so and if at any point in times those needs have been decreased because of their interests going elsewhere and they're not treating everyone fairly in that particular union or this multiple union, then a person has a right to walk away. So again, when you're asking for your wants and needs, and someone is denying you your basic respect, basic needs, your safety, okay, you have to make a decision. Are you going to stay in that, or are you going to say that's not going to work for me? And are you going to be willing to kind of have the strength to kind of leave that? Okay, and only interact with things that's going to provide your wants and needs. Because sometimes people will lay out straight up, this is my wants and needs. And then people say, oh, yeah. And then later on, they'll trick and then not give it. So that's a trickster. You're also able to leave those situations, okay? Because that's a slave catcher. Sometimes relationships can end up being slave catcher type, right? Situations where you're seduced and then you get into it and it ain't quite what they said, right? It says, what will you add to your Bill of Rights? So these are the basics, but what else do you feel like you need to add? Okay? We've always talked about how one of the things they destroyed, we talk about if you can destroy the relationship between a male and a female of a race nation group, you've destroyed the whole race nation, right? And somehow we're surviving, even though it's a lot of damage there. And so that's something that we have to look at, getting these kind of balance back. Okay. But again, and also too, you have to understand that some of our people will choose not to heal. Okay. And that's their freedom of choice, right? They have free will. That's their free will to do that. But it doesn't mean you have to stay bound to that, right? You have to find people of your like mind. Okay. So that's another hard reality. Sometimes when we heal and we start setting boundaries, it may mean that if people can't respect that, we have to kind of move on. Okay. And that's a hard thing to talk about, you see. Okay. And so with that, let's see. We always end with type of affirmation card or some type of card. Let's see what we're talking about today. Let's see what I got today. This right here is one of those affirmation decks that my daughter got for me. I like this little deck. It has this little abstract art. Okay, so let's see what we're getting. All right. Bill of Rights. And this is what I love too. I always tell people, especially when you're dealing with relationships, whenever I'm working with clients, people say, I don't know what to do. I say, you know what to do. You've done the research. Guess what the research is? The research is your life experiences. What are some of the things that you've experienced, that you've learned, and that you didn't like? And you need to write that into a rule. If I see this particular sign, I'm out, right? If I see someone doing this, I will communicate this, right? So a lot of times, just from our own experiences, we can create our rules from that, okay? All right. Ooh, it came right on out. Let's see what we got. It says, uncertainty is a gift. It says, uncertainty has the spirit of a child. It's curious, it's full of questions, which means it's full of opportunity. It's a gift, embrace it. So it's saying when we feel uncertain, embrace it like the curiosity of a child. So it's uncertain, meaning it's not clear, meaning we may have power to create what we want, right? But normally uncertainty makes us very anxious, right? That's the image. Let's see. I'm not sure if y'all are able to see this. It gets a little tricky. Can y'all even see that? There we go. I have to pull a camera in front of it. Pretty picture. Yeah. Okay, guys. And with that, I want to thank you so much for joining me. Okay, like, share, and subscribe. Do check out the community tab. A lot of times I am putting videos and different things for us in the community tab each week. And also, to always end with my statement, right? Everyone has a right to heal from trauma, right? And with privacy, without the interruption of others, without the harassment of others, without the opinion of others, okay? Even a race nation, okay? And until next time.